Right, this session's all about servicing the keg coupler. So for you to comply with the Australian standards, you need to service these keg couplers at least twice a year, or more frequent, depending on the volume that goes through the keg coupler. These are the parts in the keg coupler. We have the handle, we have the non-return valve and the retainer, the bottom gasket and two O-rings, the probe, the body of the keg coupler, two dispenser adapters. They all go together to make up the keg coupler. Right, these are the tools that we need to pull the keg coupler apart. We need the spanner to remove the dispenser adapters. We need the pliers, possibly, to remove the roller pin from the handle. We need a winkle picker and or small screwdriver to remove the O-rings. We need the rubber mallet, but you can get away without a rubber mallet. So it needs to be a rubber mallet. If it's not a rubber mallet, then do not use a hammer on the probe. We also need food grade grease. First task in breaking down the keg coupler is to remove the dispenser adapters. We do that by using the shifter, place it on the bottom nut and undo the dispenser adapter to remove it. We also do the top dispenser adapter so that both dispenser adapters are removed from the keg coupler. The next task is to remove a handle. The easiest way to do that is placing your two thumbs at the base of the roller pin and pushing away from you. You remove the clip and that enables you to pull the roller pin out, then remove the handle. Right, the next task is to remove the probe from the body. To do that, we can place our hands on the keg coupler body, pushing downwards on the body to remove the probe. Like that, and then we pull the probe out. The alternative is to use the rubber mallet and hitting downwards on the probe. You just got to be careful that you don't damage the top of that probe. The next task is to remove the gasket seal. To do that, we just put the winkle picker in and flick the seal out. The O-rings are situated at the top of the body and about halfway down the body at the base. Next, we're going to remove the O-ring seals. There are two, so we just put it in, flick the O-ring out, turn it up the other way, put our winkle picker in and again flick the O-ring out. The next thing we're going to do is remove the retainer for the non-return valve. So we reach in and flick that out, turn it upside down and the non-return valve will pop out. Once the parts have been thoroughly cleaned, we're now ready to put this back together again. But before we do that, always make sure you replace the consumable parts, the rubber O-rings and the seal. So replace them with only genuine micromatic parts. You also need to replace the retainer. The NRV should be fine, but the retainer is capable of cracking, and if it does crack, it can travel down the beer line and jam at the tap. So it's always handy to replace that retainer. The next task is to put the two O-rings back into the body of the keg coupler. Once we've done that, we're going to apply a bit of food grade grease to the O-rings, both top and bottom, and a little bit around the probe, just to make it a bit easier to push the probe through. Next, we push the probe up through the body and push it through, not quite all the way, leaving enough gap there so we can put the gasket in. The next task is to place the bottom gasket. The bottom gasket has ridges on one side and smooth on the other. The ridges will face out. Place the gasket into the groove and then run your fingers around until it slots in and it should be nice and smooth. Next, we want to put the handle onto the probe. So to do that, we've just got to make sure we move the probe around so the grooves in the probe are aligned to put the handle in place. Right, once we've got the holes lined up on the handle with the body, we just slide the pin into place. Line the clip up with the groove on the pin and clip it down. Check the action to see that the probe moves freely up and down in the keg coupler, and if it does, we're then going to put the retainer in place. Next is to put the non-return valve in. That's the round end of a non-return valve. We drop that into the probe, we position the retainer on top like that, and then just push it down just so it's just below the surface area. Now we can screw our dispenser adapters back on. Then, using the shifter, ensure that you make sure they're nice and firm in place, avoiding any beer leaks and or gas leaks.